Hey everybody, Carrie Hoffmeister here with Carrie on Abundant TV. We are here at the KLove Fan Awards in Nashville at the Grand Ole Opry. This is so exciting. You are going to come along on this journey and we are going to interview everyone that is nominated and maybe some that aren't. So come along. Hey everybody, Carrie Hoffmeister with Abundant TV. I am here with child actor Elias Camwell, right? And he is in the picture film Family Camp that is nominated for Best Picture. Is this your first movie that you've done?
Oh no, I've been acting for quite a while now, but this one, I have to say, it has been one of my best. I'm super excited about it, and I've got my hopes up.
So do you have a speech prepared if you win?
Well, a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit? Can we get a little bit of it? Just a little bit.
Sure, yeah. Well, if I win, I would love to say it. I would just love to thank my parents. They've brought me up so well. I would love to thank all of the cast and crew of this amazing film that all of our hopes and dreams have come to fruition. And, well, I'm just super excited. And I just want to congratulate everybody and so excited to be here at KLove Fan Awards.
That's awesome, Elias. So is this your first nomination ever for something that you've done?
No, I've been nominated for a couple of things for Family Camp, and a couple of things for the other media that I've done too.
Awesome. What was it like filming this movie?
Well, it wasn't easy, but I think that it was pretty good, and it was a learning experience, and well, I just had a blast.
That is awesome. Well, we're rooting for you, Elias, and thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Now we are here with Kesley from Family Camp as well. Welcome, Kesley, right? Welcome, Kesley. Is this your first award show?
No, not my first. I had another one for Family Camp, and I think that's the only one. I've only had two for Family Camp so far.
Awesome. So can you give us a little insight of what Family Camp is about?
Yes, so Family Camp is about two families. Like, one's like really perfect, but on the inside they're not really. And then the other one's like not put together, but then they also like all love each other. So like, it's like two different families. One's perfect, but not really. And then they learn like to like love everyone and like don't, yeah, that's basically, yeah.
And what is your character like in this film?
So her name is Barb Sanders, and so I think she's just like me because like she loves wildlife, she loves animals and insects and all of that, and I have like, if I got $1 for every time I like have caught it like a frog or something, I would literally be rich.
That is awesome. Well, you look beautiful tonight. I'm excited for you, and thanks for coming on today. We're rooting for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We are here with Dan Brebness, who is presenting Song of the Year, right? Are you excited for that?
Yeah, it's a huge honor to be able to be a part of this and to present it. Yeah, it's amazing.
How awesome is it that as an artist, you get to just be here and kind of support other artists?
Yeah, it's a great industry, and like being around all these artists, we all kind of know each other, so it's fun. It's like a reunion, and it's just a big party, and like to see the excitement of the fans and how the artists and the music and the fans come together. It's pretty unique.
Yes. So is there anyone here that you haven't met that you're excited to meet or see?
That's a great question. I am a huge fan of the Brandon Lake song Gratitude. So
and he's up for like 1 million awards.
Yes, and well deserving, you know. So I'm excited to see that song live tonight, and of course Lauren Daigle is a pretty big deal, so it'll be pretty fun to see that.
So I have to ask, did you vote?
I didn't.
You didn't vote?
I didn't know if I was allowed. Is that allowed? I don't know.
I don't think they have like a alarm that'll go off if you did, but that's okay. It's probably best that you don't, because you probably have a lot of friends here, right, in the category?
Then I'd have to tell them I didn't vote for some of them.
It's probably best that you don't vote. I get it. So you do have a new album that is out into the wild and a new radio single, Fingerprints. Can you share just a little bit about this project?
Totally, yeah. It's called Into the Wild, and it just talks about the idea that, you know, the invitation of life is always there for us, and sometimes it's a little wild, sometimes it feels dangerous, but I believe that faith is the thing that should lead us into those crazy things, you know? We have the choice to sit back on the couch or to live a good story. And so that's the idea behind the record, is that just that invitation of like, live a life, live a story, like go beyond your comfort zone, be stretched, and see where God takes you.
That is so awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here, Dan. We're excited to see you present Song of the Year. We're excited to see who's going to win. And go check out his album that's out, Into the Wild. We have Jace and Misty here we probably all know them from Duck Dynasty, which is a family favorite in our house still. We have a 13-year-old daughter that we just love watching your show. It's just such a good, wholesome show so I'm kind of fangirling right now. I'm a huge fan of you guys. And you're nominated tonight for your podcast, Unashamed. How does that feel?
I was actually kind of overwhelmed. We've done so many episodes. We're almost at 700. And we work hard on we're studying the Bible, and you don't want to get that wrong. And so we put a lot of time and energy, and I meet so many fans that are moved to tears now. They used to always talk about Duck Dynasty, but now it's all about the podcast. So kind of feel a weight on my shoulders about not getting it wrong. And so when I heard we were nominated, I was just kind of overcome. I feel like that's winning, because all the podcasts that are nominated, the true winner is the Word of God in that. So, I feel like we won just being nominated. So I really am excited about it.
We got some craziness going on.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
It's Kane. Yes, it's Kane.
As long as they're doing rockets for Jesus, I'm all in on this. You know?
What is your favorite podcast episode that you've done? That's probably a tough question because you've done so many. Is there one? Do you have a favorite that you've
I don't have a favorite because I don't really listen to them.
All right, I'll say this. Because I've never watched our podcast. I'm kind of weird about that. But I think the first one that my wife was on, she's been on a few. And that seemed to be people's favorite. Because she made me nervous. Because it's kind of my world. I'm there so often.
You're making me nervous right now.
So look, I'll start telling a story. And she's like, no, that's not how this went. So I think, in a weird way, that was my favorite one because I had a person there who was like a fact checker, for my stories.
She'll keep you on your toes, make sure you're right.
Good answer, babe. That was a good answer.
How long have you guys been married?
32 years. And do you see how quick I rolled that off?
You're used to that question, maybe. You're a smart man right here. Smart man, he's learned.
32 years. Look, we dated 3 years, so we've been together for 35 years. And it was a spiritual decision, So.
What can you share? What is a secret that you could give people for just a good marriage to last that long?
Dave, do you want to?
It's got to be centered around Jesus. There is no doubt. We've had the highs of any family probably in the recent modern era. We've also had the lows. And so without Jesus, we would not be where we are today. And I can say both of our relationships with Jesus come before our relationship with each other. And that's what makes it not just where we can stick together, but we love to be together. So I have to say that.
I love that. And that just shines, again, through your show. I love your show. I do love the podcast as well, but we're kind of starting the show over again in our house, so it's kind of new for us. But
I have a new show coming out June 11th. It's called Duck Family Treasure. We actually did season 1 last year, and they renewed it, so season 2.
Look it up on Fox Nation. It'll be on Fox Nation. And Fox Business. It's on there.
It's Duck Dynasty with a twist, I guess. Some of my family members are in it. Instead of duck hunting, we're treasure hunting. But it's as a family element. If you like Duck Dynasty, I think you'll like it. So I'm pretty proud of it. I think you'll like it.
Oh, I love it. I'm a huge fan of you guys. It's so awesome to meet you. Thanks for being here, and good luck tonight. I hope you guys win. So we're here with Ben Fuller, and he just said my husband's beautiful.
Yes. He is beautiful. He's a beautiful man. Yes, he is a very beautiful man.
Well, speaking of beautiful, you have your girlfriend, Ashley, here tonight. Can I say that, right?
Yes.
She's beautiful.
I'm not worthy, so.
Yes, you are. So I want to talk real quick, though, about your post that you said about her. Did it really happen that way? Okay, was this like a random, you walked up to him in the airport and said, you're handsome and you sing good, but that's only going to last for so long? You got to share.
We met. We were standing next to each other in the security line. Is how we met. And then
Did you know who it was?
no idea. No, I didn't. We just started. We don't even know how we started talking.
Yeah.
His guitar was getting searched.
God.
It was 5 a.m. We were
My
probably
guitar was getting
delirious.
searched.
And
Praise
that was
God.
it.
It's like somebody open the case and make this last a little longer. I don't know. So yeah,
So you're like, hey, I need your number, or what?
I honestly, she said she serves at Church of the City, at Kid City, at Church of the City, and Church of the City is where my life started. Like that's where I got baptized. That's where I felt the Holy Spirit. That's where I heard the gospel. Like, so I'm like, I thought literally the Lord was just like, are you gonna stop talking and listen? Right? Like you need to just pay attention. And so yeah, I'm thankful.
I'm so excited for you.
Months, I guess we've been. So I met her on my birthday, and then our first date was on my parents' anniversary. So it's been really hard to. It's like, is this really happening? But I had given up. To be honest, like I had given up. Like I was like,
Well,
I'm not looking for
I
anyone.
remember you mentioning at your show that we went to, which I think might have been in February, that you were praying for your future wife. So you must not have met her yet.
Praise God.
I love that. Oh, he does answer, and you are such a blessing. I wanted to tell you, I met a couple last night at the Songwriters Showcase. Their names are Art and Anna, and they were recovering addicts. And they heard your story, and I was kind of telling them a little bit more about it. And I got to see through their lens just a different reaction to the music last night of how it's blessed them. And they were just crying and praising the Lord and just so thankful. So you are impacting people. God is using you. And we think the world of you, and we're so happy for you. And you're nominated.
I can't believe that it's ridiculous. So
Were you so excited?
I'm so excited. I'm honestly like, it's a little hard to believe, really. After watching, I don't know. I feel like I've watched it online and I've watched it on TV, and I'm like, I'm really here, and I'm really nominated for Breakout Single of the Year. Is that what it is? I guess.
yes.
Who I am.
I voted for you.
You did?
Yes, I promise you. I voted for you. Did you vote?
I voted. And I sent it to my small group to vote also.
She didn't vote. She didn't vote for me.
Did you vote?
I didn't vote. No, I'm not
I
a.
don't think he even knows that voting.
I'm not sure how to run all those things. I've also been on social media fast for a month, so I feel really good about that. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's not a competition for me, but I'm grateful to be here and grateful that God is honoring this thing. And there's a whole lot to this story, and I'm just grateful to KLove, honestly, for taking a chance on me, you know. And so it really gives me a lot of hope, but I believe that it gives other artists too that think that they might not be able to do this or have a chance to be like, well, Ben did it. God did it. So he can do it for me too. And that's just what I want to tell people. God, he can do it for me. He can do it for anybody.
And you do a good job of that. You really do. Do you have a speech prepared, or are you going to wing it?
I'm going to... Yeah, I'm not.
That's what I'm doing right now.
I don't know what to say. Yeah, I'm just going to say thank you, Jesus, and praise God.
We got these guys over here with note cards, and I'm like, I just have this. So when I saw you, and I've had him before, I was like, whew.
I've always been spur of the moment anyway, so yeah, it'll be good.
Well, I'm so excited to see what happens. I hope you win, because I did vote. And it's so good to meet you, and I'm so excited for you.
Me too.
Thanks, Ben. Your book is up tonight. Tell us a little bit about your book.
It is Love Stories of the Bible Speak. So it's the beautiful, original intent that God had for us to have good, healthy relationships that call us to be very unselfish. But we've got the messy ones too, like Samson and Delilah, because I think every story is in there for a reason and we can learn from all of them. So it's the good, bad, and the ugly.
That is awesome. How does it feel to be nominated for your book?
I just want to laugh and pinch myself. I mean, I'm such a fan of everybody who's here. Their work has been such a blessing in my life. So just to be in their company is a great honor.
Yeah, and you're also presenting tonight for Female Artist of the Year, right?
Yes.
What a big honor to be able to present Female Artist of the Year. Do you have a favorite artist that's here tonight?
You know what? I went to college with Toby Mac, and it's been beautiful to watch him through DC Talk and now on his own, and everything he's been through in his life, that he's been so transparent and sharing his own pain and pouring it into such beautiful music. So I may be a little bit biased, but he's a longtime friend, so I'm a big fan.
Did you vote for him?
You know I did. Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. Is there anyone here tonight that you haven't met that you're excited to see?
Or to see perform? Oh my gosh, everybody. I get so excited because this is like the best concert of your life. It's all the best artists doing their best songs and their best work. You know what? First things first, I'm hoping that they'll do that song tonight. And I hope they perform it because I would love to hear it in person.
Well, you can also catch Shannon on Fox News, so she's a pretty big deal here. But we're rooting for you. Good luck on your book tonight. I'm so excited for you, and thanks for being on. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Great to see you.
You too. Here he is.
Who we got?
I am Carrie Hoffmeister.
Hi, Carrie.
I'm with Abundant TV. You are a fan favorite in our house right now.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
Seriously. My husband is behind the camera, but he is he's actually who introduced me to you.
Really? I
Yes.
like him. Let's keep him.
He seriously listened to your song Brighter Days on repeat for days and days and days and days.
That's amazing. Are you sick of it yet?
No. So I'm the type that when I hear a song I love, I listen to it for forever
I love that.
until I find the next one.
I love that.
But your album, My Tribe, has been on repeat. Your song Rollin' was playing in our church the other day when we walked in.
Oh my God. Isn't that fun?
It is so fun. And you played it the other night at the showcase.
Yes. Oh,
You're performing tonight, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So can you tell us what you're performing?
Well, we're singing Brighter Days, and I've got a couple super special guests that you guys are you will be moved.
Awesome.
And I can't wait for it.
That is awesome. And you're nominated.
I am for 2 things.
How does that feel?
Humbling, scary, last adjective, honored. Yes, all of the above.
And you have a song with Toby Mac. Like, what is going on for you right now?
What is God doing?
Yes,
You know?
he is working.
He is definitely working, and I am. My pastor said to me the other day, God can do more while you're sleeping than you could ever do with all your restless energy, and I take that to heart.
That is
you
so
know?
good.
Yes.
You are such a blessing, and I love your testimony, and your music is impacting people.
Please keep listening.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. Like, if you need somebody to listen to like a new song.
Demos? You'll do
Oh
it?
yeah,
Okay.
Hoffmeisters are down. You may not get any negative criticism ever because we are big fans. But I'm rooting for you tonight. I have Gabby Barrett here. So Gabby, I'm fangirling right now. I'm a huge fan of you. So I interviewed Colton about like a few weeks ago, and I told him at his show that if he needed me to perform your part on Build a Boat, and he was like, yeah, we should just call you out and just tell everybody it's Gabby.
Yeah.
So
You want to do that for me?
let's do it. If you win tonight, I'll come on stage, and I wonder, what do you think people would do?
I think they would be ecstatic. No, I'm kidding.
No, there's a little difference there.
She's beautiful.
You're beautiful.
No kidding. Thank you.
What was it like? So, can you tell us, how did this come about for you to collaborate with Colton?
I had actually loved the song before he had reached out. I heard it on the radio. Loved the melody, loved the message. I downloaded it onto my phone, was listening to it, playing it throughout my house. And then literally maybe 3 days later, my management had said, hey, there's this kid, his name's Colton Dixon. He's in the Christian genre. He's got this song, Build a Boat. I was like, wait, I already love that song. I already have it on my phone. And so I was very excited to jump on it. I love the message of it, and he's great too. Very kind.
Well, I voted for the song, so we're rooting for you.
Song of the year.
Yes, woo! So we're here with Mercy Me. So I've tried to have you guys on the show. You're like super busy. Apparently, you're like a big deal.
I don't know about that.
You know?
We're big. Yeah.
So I've had so much fun this weekend hanging out, and one thing that I've learned about you specifically, but all of you, is you're hilarious.
You're hilarious. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. But yeah, well, I don't have the physique of someone that can be taken seriously, so I better start getting real funny.
I mean, I really think you could like do stand-up comedy if you weren't so successful.
I need the band behind me playing.
We'd have to be playing like some lounge music behind it.
Yeah.
Get in the rhythm. Yes.
Plays your guitar.
So dumb.
Well, this is not your first rodeo. You guys have been around a really long time. So what is it like coming here? Do you still get nervous? Are you just excited? Or what is it like?
I don't know if we get nervous. I mean, we get excited to see our friends that we don't get to see unless we're touring together. So there's a lot of people we haven't seen in a while. And it's just, I mean, next year will be 30 years. So we've learned not to take it for granted. And the fact that we're nominated and able to still be here is awesome. And I think we're in that season to where we truly we're doing this because we genuinely enjoy it, and we still get along and love seeing everybody.
Well, I'll tell you, last night at the Songwriter Showcase, I got to meet a couple that was sitting next to me who their testimony was just amazing. And when you guys sang I Can Only Imagine, they just lost it. They were recovering addicts. They just started listening to Christian music about 2 years ago. And your music is still just impacting people, and I just wanted you to have encouragement of that, is that just being able to be in the audience and see the reaction to what your music that you've written so long ago is still doing in people's life is just incredible. And I just want to encourage you to keep on going because you're a big fan favorite in our house. We love Mercy Me. We love Mercy Me. What are you guys most excited for tonight?
Tonight, I'm just seeing everybody perform, although I won't get to see much. We're performing, which is going to be fun, and then, we don't get to see these. I mean, you think about it, we never get to see them play except for things like this, and so sitting with our wives will be nice, and,
And hanging out backstage, catching up with everybody is always great.
Who are you the closest with?
Oh, Barry. Oh, wait, you mean
here? Like
my wife? I don't know.
He was really quick to that. Artist-wise.
Oh, closest. Oh, man. There's a lot. I mean, gosh, Jeremy and Mac Powell, like, we've known them all. We're like the old guard now. We've done Stephen Curtis, we've spent so much of life together over the years that we don't get to see each other enough. And so, like, sound check and hanging out all day today has been incredible. And so, we're friends with all of them.
Well, I'm excited to see you guys tonight, and it was so nice to meet you all. Thank you. And thank you for being here.
Got 3 questions. Hello, y'all. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not all at once. I just want to thank KLove. This is so special. Thank you for being a part of these sweet nights, honestly, that we just get to love on people and show them that they matter. It's really beautiful. And then I think this is the part where you raise your hand and then I say yes or no. Does anybody have a question? Okay.
So I'm all there from Brazil.
Awesome.
So how is to keep your heart pure and humble? I mean, Brazilian music is a big deal. It's really well known. So how is to keep your heart pure once your music is like all around the world?
Oh, okay, great question. But let me start off by saying I love Brazil. Brazil is the first country that I ever went to outside of the United States. And I always get the Brazilian flag on the comments and stuff, like, how much longer? And we were supposed to go to Brazil in 2020, and then the world shut down. So we're coming back, we will. But I love your country, I think it's beautiful. How do I keep my heart pure? This is the thing that I personally love. First of all, I'm from Louisiana. I'm a Southern girl through and through. I grew up in the swamps. And our people down there, we're very Cajun, and there's just a simplicity to life, right? And it doesn't matter. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie lived down there for a long time, and there's a reason why. It's just because people will see you as another person. And I think that's something that's really beautiful about our culture and about the way I was raised. My grandfather, he would talk to like a homeless man and the president of the United States the exact same. There was never any hierarchy. And I think growing up with that as an expression of how to see people and how to love people is why I keep that humility. It's because fame is not fun. I'll be honest, it's not cool. I love just getting to be with people and seeing them for who they are, and then in turn feeling that in the same way, So Yeah, I don't ever want to get too big for my britches, as they say in Louisiana. Yeah, thank you.
Michael? Tell me the story behind Thank God I Did.
Oh, okay, cool. I love this story. Well, COVID impacted everybody in multiple ways, but for me, it was the epitome of devastation. I was on this world tour that was going to be the biggest tour of my life at that time, and we got the phone call and everything had to just be shut down, right? And I remember going home and thinking, okay, they said this will last a couple weeks. This will be good. It'll be a reset. And little did I know the world was going to be sitting for a hot minute. And the pain of that and just such disappointment was really hard to overcome. But the thing that was the most difficult was the animosity in the world at the time. And seeing people that were against each other in this idea of love that I have for other people and unity that I have for other people, it was the thing that completely shook my foundations, if you will. And so it led to a lot of panic attacks, anxiety, depression. And in the process of that, I had two friends. I had this panic attack that lasted for like 7 hours, and my mom and a friend sat with me through it. I had never known what this was. I didn't know what was happening. And I wrote the song right after that with Jason Ingram, who I'll be performing with tonight. And I wrote it just because it was the clearest picture of God that I had seen in a long time. Just seeing him love me through other people who didn't give any element of shame or rejection or like this girl's losing her mind. They were just with me in the process. And that really, it set me free. And so, yeah, that's what I ended up writing the song about.
Sammy.
Thank you.
Hey.
Oh, yay. Hey, Sammy.
How are you?
Good.
I went to ask you earlier, it looks like there's something written on your hat. Is that something special? And we get to ask you questions, but is there a special message that you were hoping to convey to us? And does that have anything to do with messages on your hat?
This hat, my friend, it's Pate Jackson hats. And he made it, gave it to me on the day of the album release. So for everybody that doesn't know, we have a record out. It released May 12th. And it's the first of 2 albums. So we have another one coming in the fall that I can't wait for. And this is lyrics and song titles that are written all over the hat. He like burned them into the hat. And then the fabric that's used on the hat was the fabric from the photo shoot that has the album cover with all the little pieces of yarn and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of like the album hat, if you will. Yeah. And then do I have any message? Well, gosh, I feel like I always have something to say. But I just want everybody to know I love what we get to do. I love being up here. And what you do matters as well. You give a voice to us, and you allow the things that we have to say to be highlighted and elevated and brought in front of people. And that's really dear. It's really special. You have a very important position. And I know the media right now gets a lot of scrutiny for various things or whatever, but I just want to empower you to know that you have a position of making or breaking in whatever you do. You can either help someone and bring someone to beauty and to fruition, to their dream and their call, or you can absolutely devastate someone and bring their heart to just utter shame and distress. So the job that you have is not a job to hold lightly. Headlines at the sake of people's ridicule, it's not worth it. It spreads hate in the world. And I just want to encourage you to keep being the people that put good material in front of people's faces, that keep encouraging people and bringing them on their journey, because the world is looking for people who will bring something kind and something good. We have enough people out there that's willing to tear people apart, but for the people who are willing to take a stand and say, no, I'm going to use this platform and this gift of media to spread hope and joy and kindness into the world, that is the most important thing that you can do with your call. And so I just want to honor you guys and say thank you. Thank you for keeping it kind, and thank you for keeping it positive. We're grateful.
Hi guys.
Hi.
This is crazy. Oh, do I like call on people like a teacher? Because you're raising your hand. Okay, go for it.
Did you ever feel like giving up in your journey to this point, and what did you do about that?
You know, I did. I did feel like it, and then I did it. I did give up on me. I was 14 when I started music, and I started putting out songs, and I was here in these rooms, and when I was about 20, 21, I kind of stopped hearing. I got confused about which voice was God's voice and which one was everyone else's voice, and I needed to walk away, and I needed to give that back to God for a little while. I needed to give that gift back and find Him again, and find who I was in Him. And so I just listened, and I trusted, and I was totally scared and totally freaked out most of the time. But I get to now look back and see that God was just like, He was so intentional with every, with that whole break, that whole time off. He was building something in me and reintroducing me to His voice and my own voice in that. And so yeah, I guess I just kind of trusted and followed, and nothing heroic, you know. I just kind of listened to His voice again. Yeah. Yes.
First, congratulations on your win.
Thank you so much.
And tell us about the song Perfect.
Yeah, okay. So again, I was still in the season of not really wanting to put out music again. I had just had my first kid and just like momming it up. And I was doing a lot with me and my brother my brother actually runs a nonprofit called People Loving Nashville, and we help people that are unhoused and that are coming out of incarceration. And I had been spending a lot of times with the prison ministry that we were doing, and I met these girls in there that were just beautiful and just searching for God and wanting more and wanting healing. And I wrote this originally for them. I wanted to just write a song for them. And then I called up Mr. Toby Mack, and he agreed to come and sing on it with me. And his wife actually comes in the prison with me too, and does the Bible classes and stuff. So it was just this. It was all God's timing and all of His work just to come together and say, okay, there's something that you're learning from these girls. There's something that I'm showing you when you're coming into prison. You're really visiting me in there, you know, and you're really visiting. You're looking into my eyes. This is Jesus talking to me, and I think He wanted me to write that song for them, and now now I'm singing it to myself, and I think people are singing to each other and over each other, and that's just the best gift. Yeah.
Can you talk some about your new single too, Somebody to You?
Yes, totally. I kind of feel like this song is a cousin to Perfectly Loved. It's about identity. It's about figuring out, it's not even figuring out, it's coming back to who we really are in God, what our identity really is, and what our purpose really is. And I think we look for our purpose with likes and follows and attention and being impressive, and even not even that, but just like even feeling visible and known and seen. And sometimes we just don't feel that. We feel invisible sometimes. And we wrote this about the fact that we're children of God, and that's all the purpose we'll ever need, and that is the purpose. So yeah. Yes.
Hi. Legit, this is my favorite song right now. Like every time I hear it on the radio, it stops me in my tracks.
Oh my gosh.
But I loved your music from before. I hate to say this is a second wave, but as a mom and as a wife, is there something special that you hope to pass on now in this generation and this iteration of who you get to be?
Oh, that's so good. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, I mean, whenever I have two little boys, and so whenever I look at them and seeing, like when I'm on stage, I'm just staring straight at them. Like I'm so distracted because I am so honored to be able to have that voice into their life to say, whatever you do, literally whatever you do, whoever you try to be, because we talked about this earlier, because my little guy has Down syndrome, and even more of an honor to be able to speak into him and say, whatever you are, like you are the most loved person. You are so loved, even if you mess up, and to be able to like love them and understand that kind of love, and then transfer and be like, oh, okay, so that's the kind of love that you have for me, is wild. And so to be able to have another picture of God's love for us through through my little guys is pretty cool. Yeah.
How has your time writing with the Faithful Project influenced your works,
So
moving
good,
forward?
yeah. It's been awesome because the Faithful Project is there's like it's really just about bringing out creativity in us and about bringing out like just freedom in writing. And that was something that I was really insecure about as a kid. Doing this in front of people when I was a teenager, it's like, again, it's all that comparison, all that, feeling intimidated and all that. And so to be able to put a focus on just enjoying the fact that God gave us music to just enjoy and that we don't have pressure on it, it's been really fun to be part of a project like that. And it's really made me, my writing different.
Congrats, first of all. 30 years coming up. It's pretty rare to see a group that can stay together that long. What do you think is the success for you guys of being together for so long?
We've all agreed to avoid hard labor, so we've got that going for us. But we're still best friends. We get along, and we still love what we're doing. And so, and it's just there's no explanation than God's in this, because it makes zero sense that we're making music 30 years later. But yeah, we still absolutely love what we do. It's the greatest job in the world.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Could you, when you started, did you ever dream you'd make it this far? And what was your biggest dream when y'all started?
My biggest dream was that we could all stop sharing one cell phone in the early days and get our own.
A calling card.
Yeah. No, we never in a million years thought we'd be still doing this. And so we're definitely more grateful than ever. But no, it's far exceeded anything that we ever dreamed of a long, long time ago.
Yeah. It's like we're in bonus innings at this point. Like everything is it's awesome. It's just great. We're glad to be here.
Yes.
Go sports. Go sports.
The women that you coach in the moments when the cameras aren't on, and just speak to that for a little bit.
Yeah, well, the life of sports, it's a life where you live your life on a performance treadmill. And if you're not grounded in your identity and who you are, you can get lost, you can get swallowed up. And too often as athletes, we find ourselves in the measuring cup where we feel like we don't measure up. We feel like, we haven't performed to our best ability. And a lot of times what we do becomes our identity, and it's not who we are. And I think some of the greatest impact that I've been able to have on the players that God has entrusted me with is to just have moments of transparency, because I believe your transparency can be the key to someone else's victory. So just talking to them about the struggles that I faced as an athlete, the pains that I went through in losing my mom and losing my dad. We all have a story, as we've heard throughout the weekend. So just sharing those stories to encourage them and give them hope. You're welcome.
Are there any songs or artists who are here tonight who have impacted you?
Oh my gosh, Lauren Daigle. I feel like we need to be best friends. I love her song, You Say, because that speaks a lot to identity. And I think a lot of times we all struggle with inadequacy, uncertainty, doubt. I know there have been several times, like in my career, where I felt like I wasn't good enough, where I felt like I didn't have what it takes. Even when it came down to taking the shot in the national championship game, I felt unworthy. I felt like I was not equipped to do it. And so those are things that I also share with my players. Like, there are moments in life where you do feel like you're unworthy, where you do feel like you're Saul, where you want to run and hide behind the baggage and run from your calling. But if God calls you to a situation, He will equip you for it.
Amen.
How did you feel when you knew that you got nominated for this?
I mean, I was overwhelmed. I really didn't know. I really didn't know how I would respond when I got on stage, because there were so many emotions behind this. Because I grew up as a PK. My dad was a pastor. My mom was the first lady, and she always used to tell me, only what you do for Christ will last. And that just stuck with me forever. It rings in the back of my mind all the time. And so not to be able to have my mom and dad with me in this moment, I didn't know whether I'd be in a bucket of tears, overjoyed. You know, it's just kind of like the song says, I can only imagine what I would feel like when I got up there. But it's just a moment of great joy, knowing that my parents are smiling down on me and very proud of this moment and everything that they've instilled in me in terms of the love of God. When my mom passed away, at the beginning of my professional career, I remember going home and I found a little piece of paper where she had scribbled, "I love Jesus." And I remember at that point in my walk with God thinking, how could someone love Jesus so much? How could someone love someone so much who you've never seen, whom you've never touched, you've never had like an audible conversation with? And now we fast forward to 20 plus years later, I get it. I understand, you know, when you have that relationship with Jesus, and it's just an unexplainable love that you have for him when you commit and you fully surrender to his will for your life.
Thank you for sharing that.
How have you been able to fight the different giants while pursuing your calling?
Well, you just have to be bold. You have to be like Daniel and be true to who you are. You know, there have been times where people have said, you know, there's a separation of church and state, and you can't do this at the university. But it's like my faith is my foundation. It's always been who I am. And honestly, you don't have to have a Bible. You don't even have to say the name of Jesus. It's just how you treat people that they can see your light. Prime example, I remember a couple of years ago, it was one of the worst seasons of my professional career. And according to the world standards, it was a failure. And I remember thinking at the very last home game, dear God, please let us just win one game so we could have some glimpse of hope. We didn't win that game. But at the end of the game, a little ball kid told his mom that he wanted me to lead him to Christ. I never told him that I was a Christian. Never said anything to this young ball kid about my faith walk. But obviously there was something that he saw in my life. And I call that the best championship that I've ever won. Right there courtside at Elon University, I was able to lead our ball kid to Christ.
What has being a Christian professional athlete taught you personally?
It has taught me to always remember my why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because when you're on that performance treadmill and when your livelihood is depending on your performance, that's a lot of pressure. And I remember my laundry list it was like my Christmas list to Jesus. I want to be an MVP. I want to be an all-star. You know, when you've reached the highest pinnacle of success, like I did at the University of North Carolina and winning the national championship, you want to recreate that euphoric feeling. And in the WNBA, you know, I never was an MVP. I never was an all-star. And I can just remember one day, I felt like Holy Spirit was whispering to me, what have you done for me lately? Because I'd gotten so consumed in worldly success. And that changed the whole trajectory of my perspective in terms of thinking about, I have this awesome platform. What can I do to use it for God's glory?
What are some of the biggest challenges facing the student athletes right now, from a faith and just a society situation? Identity. And the enemy knows that. When you think back to like the book of Genesis, that was a challenge on identity. When you think about when Jesus was tempted in the wilderness, the enemy said, if you are the Son of God, that pertains to your identity. And that's the same tricks. He doesn't have new tricks in the book. He uses the same tricks. And it starts with identity. And so I feel like my calling is to help them understand that first and foremost, that you are a child of God. You know, when I was walking this morning and I failed to mention this out there, I was thinking like, what could I say to the people out there to encourage them? And Psalms 34:10 says, just a portion of it says, but those who seek the Lord will lack no good thing. And so when we surrender to God, there's nothing in our lives that we lack. And the acronym for lack is to understand that number one, we are loved, we are accepted, we are chosen, and we are kept. And so those are the things that I try to reiterate to my players so that they know who they are in Christ Jesus.
So for Abe and George, first of all, you guys do an amazing job. Like, I literally feel like I'm looking at people from the Bible. But was there pressure when you were being cast into this of like, I've got to do this justice? Like, what was that like for you? What was that pressure like?
Very quickly, we do look like our characters because we've actually dressed a little bit like our characters. Green and blue is what our characters wear on the show. We kind of feel like the Power Rangers when they're like in day-to-day life. They wear their colors. Yeah, and we're going to get beeped out of here like tomorrow. Just go put on our uniform. But I've said this before, the pressure is definitely off when you, and it's a testament to the writing because everything is so grounded and it's all about relationships. And all the characters are so relatable. So yeah, there is that reverence, you know, especially for me. You know, John wrote a book, and you know, it's like, oh, the pressure's on. But then, you know, I get to know John, and you know, he's got his little intricacies and stuff. And yeah, that just makes it so much more fun to play and to be on that journey with John. And every single disciple has that. So I think all the cast feels that way.
Yeah.
I don't have a book, so I'm good. No pressure. Just kidding.
What can we expect in season 4?
Well, there's certain things I can't say, of course, but with these two guys here, we do the scene in season 4 where James and John, in the midst of tragedies, in the midst of Jesus even talking about how tragedy is coming. It's funny when when you read the Bible, you forget how many times he actually predicted his death. And the disciples were always like, yeah, interesting. Hold that thought. So where are we going to stand in the future? And James and John asking, can we be on the right hand and the left hand in your kingdom? And it breaks Jesus' heart that that's what they're focused on. And so season 4 covers a lot of that, actually. That the tension is building. We're getting closer and closer to Holy Week, closer and closer to the crucifixion. Spoiler alert. And what's interesting is we're portraying the fact that the disciples kept missing it. And so we're really showing how much we can tend to miss things because we get focused on ourselves as well. So, and John the Baptist dies this season. I'll give that spoiler. No, sorry.
3-time winner tonight, Brandon Lake.
First time doing this, so bear with me. This is amazing. Do I just start talking or you got questions? Or are we, okay, or comments? Or I don't know how this works, to be honest.
I was going to ask you about, you recently teamed up with Thomas Rhett to release an awesome new version of Talking to Jesus.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how that came about?
Yeah, like all the other collaborations that I have done, and I've collaborated with a lot of people the past few years, it's been through relationship first. And Thomas and I met backstage on an Elevation tour. He came out. And we hit it off, and then we would just talk, and we would always like kind of start with like a, hey, should we write or whatever, and then he'd call me and get on the phone, and an hour later we've been talking about life and things that God's teaching us and how do we be a more present husband and father. And so then it just felt really special coming to the Ryman for the first time on my tour, and he actually hit me up a few days before. They were like, dude, Talking to Jesus is just like my favorite song. I was like, well, are you coming to my show? He's like, yeah, my whole family's coming. I'm like, dude, well, I'm sure you want to enjoy the night, but if, just in case, you want to hop up and sing with me, I wouldn't be opposed. And he was like, dude, let's do Talking to Jesus, and let's record it. I'm like, usually I feel like I'm the one that gets to benefit from this situation the most, and I didn't have to ask him. He was like, dude, let's do it. And so it was a beautiful moment, and then for us to be able to write a verse for Nashville was just a perfect opportunity, him being from there, and just it felt really powerful and special, and so yeah, I love him like a brother.
Congrats on your wins.
Thank you.
Obviously, gratitude has ministered to a lot of people, but how has it personally ministered to you?
Yeah, it's maybe the most powerful weapon other than praise, except I think that's what praise is. We enter into his courts, into his presence with thanksgiving, with gratitude, right? And for me, it's crazy even having some awesome success over the past few years, and it's crazy how quickly you can lose that spirit of gratitude, and things can become burdens, not blessings. And so every time I've led that song, you can't help sing that song and not have a heart of gratitude. Y'all, I shouldn't be alive. My mom had 6 miscarriages, and somehow I'm here, and I have a brother and a sister who are alive. I have so much to be grateful for. I am a living, breathing, walking, talking miracle. And when you think back on your story, you can't help but be grateful. And it also has been, the song has been a reminder that God can use anyone and he can use anything. That song almost didn't make my record, and wasn't a single, wasn't a highlighted track, and wouldn't it be like God to take a song, the one that almost didn't make it. I've heard the same kind of story about Great Are You, Lord, probably a song that's sung by every worship leader, 365 times a year, and it's just crazy. It's reminded me that God will use the least likely person and the least likely song to change other people's lives. The back.
Obviously, you've got to be riding high right now.
Yeah.
What is a current struggle or difficult time that you're trusting God with right now?
Yeah. I like to write songs with faces. I'll encourage other songwriters to not write faceless songs. I think the most powerful ones are when you are writing it for someone. And there's songs that I am writing right now that I will want to hear my brother sing one day. And I'll leave it at that, but most amazing dude. I see God wants to there's breakthrough to be had in his life. And so I write, obviously, with so many loved ones in the forefront of my mind. And also, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I just came out with a record not too long ago that was kind of mental health focused. And I came off my first tour and had written in the same few weeks, written with all my heroes like Elevation, Pastor Stephen Furtick, Matt Redman, so many others. And I came home and I experienced anxiety for the first time in my life and a complete panic attack. And so with this new pace, I've had to develop new tools and how to stay healthy. And luckily, I have amazing mentors that were standing in that room that have come alongside me and said, hey, you don't have to do it the way I did it, and burned out, and then finally got back. Like, you can develop the tools now. And so that's probably one of the biggest challenges, but opportunities is, because I don't just see it as a challenge to make sure that I stay healthy. I see it as an opportunity that I get to learn it young, so that even the next generation, the next Brandons, if I'm honest and I'm talking about the process, putting out a record about my feelings, that maybe those guys, those girls won't have that issue, and as they step up and stand on my shoulders.
You mentioned a lot of collaborations. I imagine that will continue, but can you talk a little bit how you allow the Holy Spirit to help you discern, especially as a father with a young family, what's not just good, but what's the best in this season?
I've got, oftentimes it feels like I've got 3 Holy Spirits. I've got the Holy Spirit, and then I have Brandon Breitenbach over here to my right. He's often the voice of the Spirit, and my wife, Brittany Lake, is often, God speaks through people all the time. And it's one thing that I don't ever say yes to something without getting a blessing from my wife. I learned from Stephanie Gretzinger a while back. She said every invitation that I get, whether it's a feature or if it's to show up and do this worship set at this event, I simply, I know this is elementary, but it's like I just ask, Holy Spirit, should I do this? And when you do that daily, or you do that regularly, it's not that hard to hear his voice. And I don't always get it right, but he has grace for that. And I come home and I go, okay, how do we do this differently? Was that too long? Was that gone too long? Those are tools we've had to develop. After 9 days, things start breaking down at home. I start breaking down. And so, it's like hearing his voice in the moment, but also putting and staying in the practice of boundaries.
Next up, the probably say the better half of King and Country. The wives. Mariah and Courtney.
Well, that was kind. Oh, very kind. Hi, you guys. I'm Mariah. This one's Courtney, not the other way around.
Yeah. Sometimes it's Coco and Momo. If you're feeling up to that, I know it's been a long day. You can throw that out. We'll answer.
So questions. I see that lovely hand. Yes.
First of all, you guys are hilarious. You should start your own group.
Stop.
Maybe like for Queen and City.
For Queen and City.
There you go.
That's good. That's clever.
But what are the struggles of being on the other half of your husband's traveling so much, but also what are the joys in that?
Wow. What's your name?
Carrie.
Carrie.
Yes.
Carrie, beautiful question. Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is actually the fact that we travel with them a lot. And at all times, one of my godsons or goddaughter, Courtney's kids, they're out on the road. Courtney comes, I go out. So my husband and I have a 2-week rule. We don't go longer than 2 weeks without seeing each other. Over the years, that length has gotten smaller and smaller. But when we first met, we were long distance and both touring. And so I think it's like anything else. It's a muscle that takes practice and strategy and conversation and intentionality. And so I think the biggest challenge is just lining up the calendars. But we will cross oceans and we will take trains and planes and Ubers and do whatever we need to be together. How about you, Coco?
I love that question because it's the highs and the lows. I think the high is getting to do that together. I mean, obviously we haven't done things normal, whether it's when we were touring in vans or RVs or tour buses and taking little kids into all these random places. But it's so worth it because what are your priorities? You just build your life around it. And there's joy there. We've had great adventures, so many memories, so many beautiful people. Like you get to, I would say a joy is meeting people from all over the world and seeing actually kind of how the United States is. Like the Midwest has a vibe, okay? Florida has a vibe. You're gonna have a good show in Florida. It's true and you know it. So that's kind of fun to see kind of how that is. I would say some of the hard things has been, I have 4 young kids and, sometimes it's like, awesome, and God graces you for these things, but then sometimes you get COVID for the 4th time and a stomach bug comes. That's real life. So sometimes it's just hard and you're like, okay, Lord, you're gonna provide, and he does in different ways. It could be a grandparent, it could be a friend calling you, it could be those moments. So it's not easy, but it's really good. So
thank you.
And can I just brag on this woman too, speaking of challenges, like a lot of people weren't really around and we didn't get to see a lot of you guys in the early stages of building for King and Country. But when we were in vans and trailers, Courtney, even before Joel and I were married, when we were just dating, Courtney was pregnant and sleeping in the back of vans across the country, and then she would show up to a venue, help set up merch, and then run lighting for their shows. So it really is built from the ground up by, like you said, making decisions to be intentional with your time and prioritize. Purple suit, what's your name?
Herb.
Herb?
Yes.
Herb! I love that. Hi, Herb.
Thank you. Hi. Can you guys talk some about the Unsung Hero movie that's coming out?
Yes, of course. So Unsung Hero is a movie that the 4 of us have really poured into. My husband co-directed and acted in it. I co-produced it. And Luke and Courtney have been arm in arm the entire way from the beginning to the end. And the beginning really was coming up with the script at the beginning of last year. And we're really just telling the story of our immigrant family. I mean, we even though we married into this family, we consider ourselves to truly be a unit. And so we're telling the story of Helen and David, or for us, Mom and Dad, packing 12 suitcases, packing up 6 kids with a 7th on the way, and moving from Australia to America with nothing but hope in their pockets. And the thing that really excites me about this story is, yes, it's celebrating women, and it's celebrating the sacrifice and the leadership and the backbone of a family, being a mother. But you know, I'm not a mother. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a wife, and I get to cheer on the mothers that have made a way. And I love that it's telling the story of an immigrant family. You know, that's so that can be a very like politically divisive and sometimes not so palatable topic, but I think this film does it in a way that kind of skips all that and goes through the back door of the imagination and just hits you straight in the heart. So I'm excited for you guys to see it.
Thanks, Herb. SammyCone.com. Guys, I have a story about Sammy. Sammy has known me since I was a teenager in South Florida. Let that just settle and blow your mind.
Do you want me to get on the mic?
What do you want to talk about, SammyCone.com? Tell me.
I want to talk about your beautiful voices. And are we going to get to hear anything with you and your husbands again soon? The four of you.
See, this is the problem. Sammy asked us a question like this on the red carpet, and I said, if me and Courtney get on a mic, it's going to be all kinds of ratchet. You're not going to be able to play that on KLove. It's not appropriate for the little ears, as they say. So yeah, I don't know about me and Courtney doing a duo, but you know, we're always down to support the guys. I do love singing with them. I mean, Pioneers is a beautiful, beautiful moment, and we don't really sing very much together. I don't know about you, but like in real life, like at home, it's very quiet for me and Joel. We have no children, and so we have no art on the walls. We have a white couch. It's as ridiculous as you can imagine, and it's just peaceful. We don't sing. When we do sing, it's always a joke. It's like, and you look so good, you are my boom boom. You know, we make it real nasally, and like, yeah, this is what we do.
I can attest that is true. So true.